Good morning, children, and welcome to my new class. So, today we'll be starting this new chapter that is My Unknown Friend, that is Unit 8. Now, this is adapted from My Unknown Friend by Stephen Leacock. So, this is just an extract from that story. Let us first see who Stephen Leacock is. Stephen Leacock was the best known humorist in the early part of the 20th century. He was also an essayist, teacher, political scientist, historian, and a recipient of many awards. His writings are known for their light humor and the criticism of human follies. Now, what are follies? Follies means little mistakes. So, let us see what the story is about. He stepped into the compartment of the pullman where I was sitting alone. Now, what is a pullman? Look here. Pullman trains in Great Britain were mainline luxury railway services that operated with the first class coaches and a steward service run by Pullman Car Company. So, it means that only wealthy or rich people could travel in a pullman. He had on a long fur lined coat and he carried a $50 suitcase that he put down on the seat. Now, here again, this line also tells us that he is quite well off, he is wealthy, and he is rich. Then he saw me. Well, he said, and recognition broke out all over his face like morning sunlight. So, when he saw the narrator, it was as if they knew each other. I repeated, but he was not able to identify that person. He was not able to recognize him. By Jove, he said, shaking hands vigorously. Who would have thought of seeing you? It means that it was somebody who had recognized him and is quite surprised at seeing him. Who indeed? I thought to myself. Now he's still thinking in his mind, who is this person? I don't recognize him. He looked at me more closely. Now that person again looked at him very closely and he was trying to recognize him again, that he had not made any mistake. So, what does he say? You haven't changed a bit, he said. Neither have you, said I heartily. Now, that person, what he says is that you haven't changed. And this, our narrator, who's not able to identify him, still says, Neither have you. And all the time I was wondering who he was. I didn't know him from Adam. I couldn't recall him a bit. True, I find it very hard to remember people's names. Very often, too, it is hard for me to recall a face, and frequently I fail to recall a person's appearance. And of course, clothes are a thing one doesn't notice. So here the narrator is trying to tell us that even though he was talking to that man as if he knew him, but actually he was not able to identify him at all. But apart from these details, I never forget anybody. So it's a humorous thing. He says that I don't remember the name, the appearance, the clothes, anything. But he says I don't forget anybody. So that is quite silly. I'm proud of it. But when it does happen that a name or a face escapes me means when he's not able to identify it, I never lose my presence of mind. I know just how to deal with the situation. It only needs coolness and intellect, and it all comes right. So he thinks that, okay, even if I don't recognize anybody, I have so many tricks to deal with it. Now he says, My friend sat down. It's a long time since we met, he said. Now that person is actually talking to him as if he has really identified him. A long time, I repeated with something a note of sadness. I wanted him to feel that I too had suffered from it. So, though he is not able to remember him, he is trying to show that, okay, I also remember you. But it has gone very quickly, like a flash. I assented cheerfully. So he's constantly replying him like a friend only. Strange, he said, how life goes on and we lose track of people and things alter. Alter means change. I often think about it. I sometimes wonder, he continued, where all the old gang are gone to. Now he says, the other person, he says that I'm wondering where are our other friends, our old gang. So do I said. Now he doesn't know anything, but he's constantly trying to tell him that, okay, I also remember. In fact, I was wondering about it at the very moment. I always find in circumstances like these that a man begins sooner or later to talk of the old gang or the boys or the crowd. That is where the opportunity comes in together to gather who he is. Now, this was the right time for him to remember, because that person, when he is talking about the old gang, he'll definitely talk about some incidents or something, some experiences that took place. And with the help of those experiences, he was thinking that I'll recall who he is. Do you ever go back to the old place? He asked. Now, again, that person is asking him questions. Never, I said firmly and flatly. This had to be absolute. I felt that once and for all, the old place must be ruled out of the discussion till I could discover where it was. Now, because if he said yes, then he would ask him questions about the old place, and he did not know anything about the old place. So he said, no, I don't go there, to cut off that topic. No, he went on. I suppose you'd hardly care to. Not now, I said very gently. So this person, our narrator, keeps replying him as if he has completely recognized him. I understand. I beg your pardon, he said, and there was silence for a few moments. So far, I had scored the first point. There was evidently an old. Now here, he's trying to tell that other person that, see, I also remember everything very clearly. Place somewhere to which I would hardly care to go. That was something to build on. Now, something to build on means he was making up a story. It was not a fact. It was not a reality. So I hope you have understood till here. From the next line, that is the 25th paragraph, we'll start in my next class. So have a nice day and keep learning.